Welcome to Trading Nation. I'm Brian Sullivan. Today, let's talk cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. Goldman Sachs out with a new note on the cryptocurrency's future. Goldman saying, quote, the bar looks high for Bitcoin succeeding as a form of money. Let's talk about Bitcoin and blockchain with the Trading Nation team. Matt Maley with Miller Tabak, Dennis Davitt with Harvest Volatility Management. Here's the gist of their report, which I find very interesting. They're not knocking Bitcoin. They're not some disbeliever in Bitcoin or blockchain, Dennis. Effectively, what they're saying is that as blockchain develops, it may be bad for Bitcoin because current forms of money do the job pretty well. Throw those on top of some blockchain, and we won't need Bitcoin as much. What do you think?
I mean, I can weigh in not being an expert on Bitcoin, but that doesn't seem to have stopped anybody from weighing in their opinions on Bitcoin. These sort of things, I usually wind up going to the IT guys at the fund and asking them about blockchain and the what can be done with blockchain and how it overlays on top of the ledger and so on and so forth. There is merit to what they're saying in terms of blockchain on top of multiple cryptocurrencies that are in the marketplace right now is definitely a threat to Bitcoin. But I will also fall back on there's such a first mover advantage in cryptocurrency or in anything new. What I always caution people is in any of these sort of investments, just look to the people who have the most leverage. And if there's a lot of leverage in that particular cryptocurrency, that's the one that will fail. So Bitcoin, I know plenty of people that own $40 and $50 slugs of Bitcoin without knowing the first thing about blockchain technology and whether it overlays blockchain technology on top of the U.S. dollar or the euro and how it may be successful on the back of that.
I think, Matt, what's interesting about this note is that normally people say if you're bullish blockchain, you're bullish Bitcoin. Goldman taking a different view. They say as blockchain grows up, it will then you could use sort of traditional forms of money or governments or whatever will be able to be on top of blockchain. So blockchain success may actually be bad for Bitcoin. That aside, what do you think of? We see people come out with price targets on Bitcoin. I guess if you do it as a factor of the global liquidity and money, what do you make of the Bitcoin craze in general?
Well, I think we have to look at it. I mean, I take a little bit of a cynical look at it on the one hand, but look at, first of all, if it is going to change the world, we have to look what happened to Amazon. It changed the world, but the stock went down 95% at one time. So on its way to changing the world. Apple Computer changed the world with PCs, but its stock in the mid-90s got clobbered and the company didn't almost go out of business, but it fell way off the radar screen before it came back, after Steve Jobs came back. So it can have a lot of big ups and downs. But the other thing we have to look at with this whole currency thing is that there's a reason the government of the United States, business in the United States, they like the fact that somebody has control over or at least some sort of an impact over our currency, and so does any other country. So, I mean, everything's happening so much faster than it was 50 years ago, or even 10 years ago. This one may not happen as fast as a lot of people think it will, because a currency that people don't have any kind of control over sounds real good in theory, but there's a lot of people within governments, whether it be our government, I mean, people talk about China, but even in our government, they say, well, wait a minute here. So there's going to be a lot of hurdles to get over. There's going to be a lot of volatility. It's going to take longer than I think a lot of other the big, really fast gains that have taken place in so many different other areas of the world. This may happen a little bit slower than people think, and there's a lot of people have a lot of skin in the game in this area. So I'm a little bit more cautious on about how fast this will become.
Whenever there's money to be made, governments somehow find a way to step in, take charge, or at least take their slice. We'll see if that happens.
It's important for them to control their currency.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe this is the world's first truly global currency, ex-gold, if you're that kind of thinker. Matt Maley and Dennis Davitt with Harvest Volatility Management. Folks, really interesting Goldman note. I put more up about it on my Facebook page. You can check that out as well. I'm Brian Sullivan. We'll see you next time.